Today we will discuss how the Russian shadow oil fleet was finally busted, as Germany took a stance to board any sanctioned ship in the Russian flotilla. This important step poses a significant threat to ongoing Russian operations aimed at circumventing Western sanctions. Germany has taken a decisive step against Russia's illicit oil trade by seizing a tanker from Putin's so-called shadow fleet, marking a significant escalation in the Western crackdown on sanctions evasion. Recently, German customs officials boarded and confiscated the Panama-flagged tanker Eventin, a vessel long suspected of being part of Russia's covert maritime network used to bypass Western sanctions. The Eventin, carrying nearly 100,000 tons of Russian oil, valued at over €40 million, was officially added to the European Union sanctions list in February. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock framed the seizure as a direct response to Russia's cynical use of rusty, dangerous tankers that not only violate sanctions, but also pose environmental and security risks to European waters, as in this case the tanker became immobile, suffering an engine failure and started drifting toward the German coast. The move is a stark warning to Russia that its efforts to skirt restrictions will not go unchallenged. The shadow fleet has become a crucial tool for Russia to sustain its wartime economy by continuing oil exports despite Western embargoes. This fleet contains hundreds of aging tankers, often registered under flags of convenience in jurisdictions with lax oversight, such as Mongolia, a landlocked country with no maritime connections. The ships operate under obscure ownership structures, frequently changing names and documentation to evade detection. A primary method of sanctions circumvention is through ship-to-ship transfers. Russian oil tankers meet in international waters, particularly off the coast of Greece, Malaysia and the Gulf of Finland, where crude oil is transferred between vessels to obscure its origin. Many of these ships deactivate their tracking systems, falsify cargo records, and use non-Western insurance firms to maintain the illusion of legitimacy. The scale of this operation is staggering. Reports indicate that the shadow fleet now moves over 80% of all Russian crude oil exports, with the Baltic Sea serving as a key artery for this illegal trade. In 2023 alone, 348 shadow fleet vessels departed from Russian ports in the region, accounting for nearly 40% of Moscow's total oil revenues, equivalent to a third of Russia's annual defense budget. The seizure of the Eventin comes amid growing frustration among Western nations that traditional sanctions alone have not been sufficient in crippling Russia's oil revenue. The European Union, United States, United Kingdom, and Japan have all imposed restrictions targeting Russian energy exports, sanctioning over 180 shadow fleet vessels, dozens of oil traders, and Russian state-owned energy giants such as Gazprom Neft. European nations are exploring legal avenues to intensify crackdowns on Russia's shadow fleet. One approach is to seize aging tankers, many of which are over 15 years old, under maritime laws that address environmental hazards. Another is detaining vessels linked to undersea sabotage, such as the suspected 2023 attack on the Estonia-Finland cable, under counter-piracy laws. Lastly, authorities may require tankers in European waters to carry insurance from approved firms, allowing them to detain ships with inadequate or questionable coverage. In response to increased Western scrutiny, Russia has turned to cryptocurrency as an alternative means of settling oil transactions. According to reports, intermediary trading firms now facilitate oil sales by converting payments from China and India into cryptocurrencies. These digital assets are then exchanged for rubles in Russia, allowing them to bypass restrictions on dollar-based transactions. Experts predict that even if traditional sanctions were lifted, Russia would continue to leverage decentralized digital assets to maintain economic resilience. This shift poses a new challenge for Western regulators, as tracking and freezing crypto transactions is significantly more complex than traditional banking measures. Overall, Germany's seizure of a ship is strong against Russia's shadow fleet. To be even more effective, the West must take coordinated, aggressive action to close loopholes that keep these vessels running. Illicit oil sales remain a vital funding source for Moscow's war in Ukraine. With Europe now considering large-scale confiscations, the fight to cut off Russia's economic lifelines may soon escalate. If you are against the invasion of Ukraine and you want to support the work that I am doing, consider subscribing to our own independent news website. Here you can find our exclusive strategic insights, comprehensive overviews of all fronts, and regular tactical analysis videos. By subscribing, you will not only show your support for this channel, but also help and defend independent journalism. The link to our website is in the description. Thank you for watching this report, and I appreciate everyone who stepped up to join us.